Who's going second?
Hi, we're three guys chillin'. I'm Josh.
I'm Robert.
Dominic. Yay!
Right
You know, not like anyone cares, but we've been gone for like 4 weeks, but you know, whatever. Hope both of our fans have missed us dearly. But we're back now, and we're talking about Judge Dredd. Last podcast, we said we were talking about this is Spinal Tap, but we didn't really have anything to say about that, so we're just moving on to the next one.
It was a pretty good film.
I thought it was good. Yeah, so this is the 1980s Stallone Judge Dredd, not the new one from 2012.
1995.
Okay.
So there was no excuse.
It was. Alright, so you can probably tell how we think about it already. You can probably tell how we feel about it already, but I'm just going to start. Does anyone want to start us off with 5 words or less, encapsulating how we feel?
I'll go first.
Okay, Robert.
It was shit. There we go.
Okay, this is my 5 words. I thought you'd say that.
Josh?
Yeah, it was pretty shit.
I thought it was a great cheese fest. Wasn't a great movie.
Not even that. Come
on. The thing is that if you've read the comics, it's a lot more hilarious how lame that movie is. Because I've read some of the comics, and I know
read
what
the comics, and it was still lame. It's just so lame.
Yeah, that's what was great about it.
I couldn't sit
through it. The 2000 AD series or something?
Yeah, the 2000 AD and Judge Dredd. I've got a whole box.
Okay.
Dad's got a whole box full of them, and I've read some of them. So there's lots of references that you won't get if you haven't read the comics as well.
Oh, look here! I've read the book. I'm better.
Yeah, says the one who read the comics.
How disgraceful this film is.
I've read A Song of Ice and Fire. But I won't spoil anything for you.
No one has ever said those two sentences.
Says the one who read the Sin City graphic novels.
Not just that, but he ordered the special editions. He's gone quiet.
Yeah.
See?
He probably can't even hear us.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay, so yeah. I'm just going to let you guys know. I'm going to have to probably switch over to my computer. For some reason, my phone's being annoying. Which means at some point, I'm sure I'm going to drop out, and I'm going to have to move over to my crappy, webcam. So just letting people know in advance. So, do we want to? So I really like the setting. It's one thing I like about the movie, which wasn't really the movie's doing, but I just really like the world and the setting. I thought that was really cool.
I did too. That's why it's so frustrating that they just
the post-apocalypse
do anything with it.
Stuff. Yeah, because it could have been so good.
And then it said, it's so lame. Oh man, it was crap.
But the world is just, and it gave us a good Judge Dredd movie. So definitely check out Dredd if you like the world and you want to see more of that, because that movie was fucking awesome. Fucking rad as, bro. So we start off with the Darth Vader guy, James Earl Jones, literally just reading the words on the screen. So not really much point of him being there. Either you just have someone narrate or you have words. You don't have both.
No. You either have no narration or you have James Earl Jones narration, man. Come on. Give him credit where it's due. Other than that, though, shit. You just got a really intense look on your face for a second there. And he's out.
Anyway. Hey, guys, I'm back. Okay.
You look like an informant on current affairs. Because he's so blurry, in case you didn't know.
Yeah, I know. So what were you guys talking about?
If you're wondering about my cough, I have a new meth business.
Oh, good. Hope that goes well. And then, so I'll just check what's next on my notes. So, one thing I was frustrated by was Sylvester Stallone's voice. I just don't really like
That's
it.
something that I didn't like. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that I didn't like,
feel like
but, you know.
He's just trying to... I don't think his natural voice is that deep, because it sounded like he was really putting it on.
Once again, comics, in the 2000 AD magazines, they said, basically, that they got the only reason they got Sylvester Stallone was because they would make money off of it. So you know, because otherwise no one would go see it. There was literally no fan base for the movie if they didn't get Stallone or someone like that in.
Where'd they get like Arnie in?
And also, wasn't there like
that's
controversy?
taking his
Like, he has his helmet off for so long, and like.
Yeah, he took his helmet off. That's the thing.
He never has his helmet off in the comics, But they did get the costumes and stuff way closer in this one, and even the setting way closer than
Which
the
I feel like
newer
is a
one.
bad thing for the costumes, because the costumes were so damn silly. Like applied in like real life, they look so silly.
Yeah.
Massive shoulder pads that literally had like a seatbelt in the chest area, so you like.
They look like They look like a monster from the really early Doctor Who episodes, not a movie made in the mid-90s. Is it 95?
Okay.
Yeah, 95.
Come on, man. No excuses for that.
We also have so you know, blah blah blah. We move through a little bit. We get to the bit where it's like, okay, hang on, yeah.
Rob Schneider. Can we just talk about that for a second?
All right. I'm going to get to Rob Schneider, so don't you worry about that, Robert. I have notes on Rob Schneider. God damn it. So
I have notes on Rob Schneider.
There's a little bit more controversy because when the guy, so Dredd is like taking all those guys out. He's walking up the building, and he's like, one of the guys grabs his gun and goes to shoot him, and he gets electrocuted. Even though they explicitly state at another part of the movie that it'll take your arm off, and I'm pretty sure in the actual comic books it like blows their hand off or something. So, you know, I assume that was just to keep the M rating.
Why'd they bother? It's a Stallone film. Yeah, he's
Anyway.
He's in Rocky. Not Rocky. That's Rambo. That's the one I'm thinking of. Guess he was in Rocky as well, but
Slightly less
Both
violent.
start with R.
yeah, they both start with R and have an O in them somewhere.
Yeah, so then he gets framed by, you know, wearing a name badge that says Dredd on it.
That's just like, I feel like if someone robbed a store with a Batman mask on, they arrest Batman.
Not
even in the movie, just in real life, they go and arrest
Yeah.
fucking Adam West.
Yeah. I know, it's so stupid. Oh my god. And how did he know it was Dredd when he walked into the room? Like, the Chancellor, or whatever he is, he just looks up and he goes, Dredd! Oh my god! And then he like gets blown.
It's so pixelated, it's hilarious. It's like just this grainy picture.
How would you even know that that was Judge Dredd? Like, it's not even the same Okay, anyway.
Maybe he's just like tripping.
It's
He was really high.
I would
really high and just imagine that it was Dredd.
I would believe that. It sounds reasonable. But to be fair, apparently there was like those DNA things or whatever that were on the bullets. And supposedly,
yeah.
they have the DNA, but like, it was the DNA of his brother though, right?
Not his brother, his clone.
Oh, right.
There's fucking clones in this movie?
Oh, that's right.
I didn't
you
get all the
actually
way
get that
through. I couldn't sit through it.
Okay.
It was just so lame.
Okay, well,
I had shit to do.
So the big plot twist is, the bad guy is the alternate clone, even though he looks different, of Sylvester Stallone. They were brought in, so they were grown in test tubes, right? Get this. One of them was like the perfect experiment. When he went right, and that was Dredd, and he was successful. Except his clone just happened to end up being the ultimate master criminal. And that's pretty much the explanation they give it. Like when Christopher Plummer, who's
so shit.
So when the old guy gets stabbed and he's like dying and he's like positioning, that's pretty much the whole explanation they give it. Because it's just like, and something went wrong and he became the ultimate criminal. Like,
that's it.
Bad parenting, or like, Jesus, how do you screw up that bad? Then we have.
That question can be applied to the rest of the movie, I think. How did you screw up that bad?
So, of course, we have the most cliched villain of all time. He just goes and kills people. Just everyone. Like, he kills a guy in a store. He kills a guy when he's escaping somewhere. He's just one of those really cliche 80s villains that, like, they tried to make you, like, fear him by, like, having him kill off, like, all the minor characters that just didn't matter. And it just gets really annoying and really predictable in the end. It's just a trope that I don't really like. Okay, so then we meet Rob Schneider.
Oh, man. This is why was he in this? Like,
well, that's a good question.
Was he a respectable actor in the 90s?
I don't even know who Rob Schneider was in this movie, so
What? How could you not? He was the most.
I don't even know who Rob Schneider is.
Oh man.
So
he was the annoying guy.
The guy that they
just quite clearly added for comic relief, but I don't think you can call it that legally.
Oh,
that's false advertising.
Dude. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I know who it is now.
The guy who hid in the little fruit and vegetable machine.
The hacker. Yeah, he's in the comics too, and he's exactly the same character.
Well,
see, now I don't want to read the comics.
The most annoying.
Sounds like a bad time.
Ever. In this movie, his jokes fall flat pretty much 100% of the time. His acting was so awkward to watch.
It was so great.
Great. It's not even so
I'm
bad.
I'm literally only defending this movie because I love cheese with a passion, and this movie was lamely cheesy. I'm not saying it was.
It's not even so bad. It's good.
It wasn't. I didn't say it was a good movie. I said that I liked it.
No, but like
I lost 10 years of my life just by watching the first 20 minutes.
I don't think I can move past Rob Schneider though. That was
guy to tell you the truth, that dude did annoy me, but that was one guy in the.
So we move on to the Angel family. Nice little family of marauders. Great at marauding, terrible at binding people with knots. Apparently, because he just breaks right out of it. They like hang him up, and he doesn't even like untie anything. He just sort of moves his hand out of the nooses that are holding up his hands, and he sort of just like escapes. So that was great. So I don't know. So how far did you get? Like, at what point in the story did you stop watching, Robert?
When he was giving a presentation to some like teenagers or whatever.
Oh my god! So you didn't even get to like when he went outside. Holy hell!
He went outside.
Yeah, he went. Okay, Robert. So basically, what happens is he gets framed. He gets taken outside the city. Okay. So for some reason, the last
Oh, that's the
wish
one.
of
One
a,
of those marauders was called Mean Machine. That's the one. I couldn't remember. That's the one with the
last-
settings on his head.
well, anyway, apparently the last wish of the High Chancellor of Justice or whatever has to be, done, I guess. And so Christopher Plummer's character, the old guy, he basically leaves. I don't really care enough to explain it. Basically, he leaves the city, and Dredd leaves the city as well, and Rob Schneider hangs around dude, you didn't even get the worst of Rob Schneider. Fucking, I had to sit through the worst of Rob Schneider. You sat through like a couple of minutes tops of Rob Schneider.
Yeah, Rob Schneider.
That was enough. That was enough.
This
movie was stupid.
You probably don't even know that it's called Hammerstein.
I had important things to do. I had ironing to do.
Yeah, that's probably good.
You don't iron themselves.
Do that. People watching it at home, you should do that instead of this. I love the bit. So basically, Christopher Plummer gets stabbed by the iron grip or whatever his name is with the
Hammerstein.
The
big robot.
The big robot.
Yeah, Hammerstein.
So he gets stabbed, the old guy, and he's like dying, and he's doing all this exposition. And there's this great moment where he's like talking about how it's revealed that the bad guy is the clone, and Sylvester goes, "I have a brother," and then lightning cracks in the background. Like,
what?
Oh
man.
That was fantastic. They're the things that I loved about this movie. Was all of the lame things that you're describing,
yeah,
like the lightning.
Lame movie like that.
It's like I love
not
so
taking
hard.
yourself seriously.
I enjoyed that bit. I enjoyed the cheese of that bit, just not the Schneidery parts.
The Schneidery bits.
So then they get a plan to get back into the city, and apparently there are these vents, right, that like are easily climbable to on the walls of the outer city. You can easily climb to them. You can easily fit a person inside them. I don't know what they're doing there, but they sort of just like disperse this flame like out of the city every 30 seconds.
Incinerator. I believe it's an incinerator for garbage and stuff.
Yeah. So apparently, there's this moment. I know it's not explained too well, like why they're there in the movie, but whatever. I guess they're there. So.
Well, there needs to be a way for
could have been spent to use make a better script.
Probably.
Better jokes for Rob Schneider. Or a better actor for Rob Schneider.
True, or just not that character at all. Or like, Anyway, so they have to run through the vents. And it's like, oh no, we've only got 30 seconds before the fireball incinerates us. And so, keep in mind, Rob Schneider's annoying the crap out of Dredd like the whole time. And for some reason, so they're running through, and they're about to be incinerated, and of course Rob Schneider trips over, because it's like, you couldn't have that scene without one of the characters tripping over.
And it was such a lame... That was such a lame... That bit particularly stood out as really bad acting for Rob Schneider, the way he tripped over. It was hilarious.
He's not hilarious,
like
bad. He's literally just like, I guess I have to fall now. Oh,
yeah.
He just falls over.
What I'm picturing is he just like gently lies himself down on the ground and says, "Help! I can't get up." Fuck.
Yeah,
it reminds me of someone It reminds me of someone who's gone down the stairs a little bit too fast and sort of stumbles a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he stumbles a little bit, but then he doesn't like do a realistic fall. He just goes on his knees a bit and goes, ugh, on the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
And with his legs up in the air. That's the other thing that he did. He stuck his feet up in the air behind him.
Yeah. He's tripping on doing the worm. What's he doing?
So Judge, unfortunately, Dredd decides to save his life. He runs back and saves him. shoots a
Another
hole.
stupid part of the plot, because he was gonna life in prison him before.
Yeah, exactly. So like, why would Judge save him? He's been nothing but a pain in the ass to this guy, like the whole time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they survive, unfortunately, and we move on. So there was one line in this movie that I thought was legitimately cool. Was when you have that. Obviously, you have that cliche 80s, 90s scene where the bad guy gets revealed to the chancellors. I don't know if that's what they're called. And they all get assassinated, and he like shoots him up. And then his line was like, "Now who says politics is boring?" And I was like, I can dig it. I can dig it. That was decent.
That's still pretty fucking lame for a one-liner.
Yeah, but it was the way he delivered it that I thought was good. What was up with his voice too? It was like, "So I wanted to kill Judge Dredd." Yeah, it's right.
What?
No, because he has that lisp. He has that lisp. Didn't you get up to the bad guys' parts? I'm sure there were some of them.
No.
I
No,
believe he was
was
trying to imitate Sylvester Stallone's voice.
Well,
Was
he
the
didn't do a
reason
very
for that. Indeed.
Because it came out sounding like this.
What the fuck was that?
So they had that.
That I thought was kind of stupid. Like the bit at the beginning when he's like fighting those dudes in that building, and he shoots a hole in the ground above where the bad guys are. You remember that?
Vaguely.
See, it's fucking stupid. That's all I remember because I didn't watch much. I remember Rockstarter and then.
I think you might have just watched the trailer, Robert. I think that's what you watched.
Even if I did, it was a bad trailer.
So then we move on to one of the biggest like WTFs for me, which was so they're riding along. So you have this great, ridiculous flying bike chase.
This reminded me of Batman and Robin, this scene, where they're surfing on them. Where they're like skydiving on surfboards or whatever it is.
So they're driving these flying bikes throughout the city, and they're like adding some tension, and it's like, oh no, you have to hit the bike hard to get it to work because it malfunctions sometimes. And they're like flying around, getting chased, a typical chase sequence.
That became a plot point? Having to hit the bike hard because they didn't work most of the time?
That was foreshadowing. Yeah, that was foreshadowing.
That was supposed to be foreshadowing?
Yeah.
Great writing in this movie. They even had foreshadowing.
Yeah. It was good. Great.
That was a cutaway joke.
What the hell was up with that hologram? So there's this hologram that's like chomping down, and it's like supposed to be a hologram for food or something, and it's like a teeth, I think, and it's like chomp, and it's like advertising, because there's like, holographic advertisements, it's the future and shit. And apparently they kill people, because like, he flies through it and explodes and dies. Like one of the guys on the bikes. Like, what is this hologram made of? Like, what the fuck? And then we have that scene, of course, the bike, the other guy that's chasing Dredd spins out of control, crashes through a window, and literally the whole building explodes. And Judge Dredd flies away safely. So that was great. That was probably the most enjoyable scene, just for me
I have
personally.
To say, the reason why I enjoyed this movie was that last bit where it gets ridiculously cheesy, like that last, 45 minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The last
so fantastic.
minutes of the film.
Yeah.
It's just the last 45 minutes is so fantastically cheesy.
Oh god.
I have to say, I actually was pretty bored up until the last 45 minutes, and it just got ridiculous.
Yeah. If there's one thing I can say about this movie is that its pace was handled at an adequate rate, because I didn't really feel bored during the movie. I thought its length was, like, good. Like, it didn't really, you know... So if there's one positive thing I can say about it, I'll say it's a short movie. So...
Man, that's not really a positive thing you can say about a film.
Yeah. It's only 90 minutes of pain, so it's alright. And then you got basically the last bit, the bit that everyone knows about because it's so great, is when they're having this back and forth. Sylvester Stallone, the bad guy, whose name I don't know, they're having this back and forth, and he's like, "You betrayed the law." Law?
What?
Yes. That was a fantastic...
Because it's so funny.
It's great. That's great.
That's the best scene. So everyone should... Don't watch the movie, just YouTube that scene, because it's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so here's something I noticed. There's that Asian chick who's, like, brought in at like, the last 20 minutes or whatever, who's, like, helping out the bad guy, right? And then there's that other chick who's the arbitrary love interest, who doesn't really have a personality apart from being the arbitrary love interest. She has to fight that Asian chick, right?
Yeah.
What? I don't know why I used this move. So she has to
It's the
fight.
kung fu move of tribadism.
So why is it that only the women are allowed to fight women? Like, is it just me that's noticed that? Like, I swear that's in like so many movies.
It's because otherwise it's sexist.
Yeah, of course.
What about Scott Pilgrim? I thought
can't
they
put up
filmed that scene pretty well.
You can't let a man beat up a woman. That's just... that you're not allowed to do that anymore.
Exactly. She has to get the shit kicked out of her.
Oh, what about that scene in Bruges?
In
Where he
Bruges, yeah.
punches
That
that
was
chick
good.
I
out.
don't remember that.
Really? He's arguing with the American/Canadian guy.
Oh, yeah.
The chick
That was so
grabs him
great.
with a bottle and then he just punches her in the face.
That was so great. Such a nice... I mean, knock is, you know, whatever. So yeah, I think it happened in The Mummy as well. So it seems to be a trend
That's a good
in
movie.
lame movies.
We should watch The Mummy next.
The Mummy 2, I think it happened in. Which we should watch The Mummy next. That'd be good.
Yeah,
I haven't seen
it in ages.
I know, right?
That'd be awesome.
I've never watched it, so there you go.
Well, you should watch
Totally
it
do
next. It's gonna be awesome.
Alright. I know the creeps can wait till after.
Okay.
So yeah. Basically, he beats the bad guy. End of the movie. Like, I don't really know what else to say. I don't even remember it, and I watched it like 45 minutes ago.
Was there any flying off into the sunset? For some reason, that comes to mind.
Okay,
But
so
maybe...
there's this really weird, there's this really funny last shot. So basically how it ends is he conveniently gets, you know, pardoned of his crimes. The bad guy's plans conveniently get out to the public and, you know, oh, everything's happy again. And then the guy offers him a seat on the council, and then Dredd's like, nah, I'm a street judge, and it's time for me to get back to work. So he puts on his silly little, you know, doesn't see a hospital, doesn't see anything like that.
It's time for me to get back to work. Don't you mean that?
Back to work.
It's time for you to get back to work.
Back to work.
Pretty much. You know, he doesn't see a hospital. He doesn't, like, report, like, any of this or anything. He just drives off. He just buckles his little shoulder pads, literally buckles his shoulder pads. He literally puts them on, and then, like a seatbelt, they just attach. Like, that's it. Like, what the hell? And there's this weird... So he the final shot is him driving off. There's this really high ledge for some reason. Seems a little dangerous, but alright. A really high ledge overlooking the city, and there's this beautiful shot of him on his motorbike, just not moving, on the edge, watching out over the city. And I'm thinking, as nice a shot as that is, logistically, what, like, I'm trying to understand the motives here, because, like, just imagine it from his perspective. He's literally just been like, time for me to get back to work, drives for, like, not even 5 minutes, and just, like, stands there at a ledge.
And does nothing.
Doesn't do anything, and just stands there.
He probably just dies a little bit inside because he hasn't got any medical attention.
Probably. You would think he
probably
would
had a stroke.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and of course, how can we forget the kiss between the vaguely attractive other judge and him? That just doesn't. It just happens because that's the rules of movie making, I guess. You just have to have that happen.
Yeah, man.
Even
Come on.
No real chemistry was developed. Anyway, so that's Judge Dredd. Great movie. I'd give it a 10 out of 10, probably.
I reckon 23 out of 10. As a movie, I'd say probably a 2 out of 3. Well, I'll give it a bit of credit. 4 out of 10.
What? No, come on. Nothing.
I
didn't feel like I should weigh in because
as a movie,
watch it all the way through.
Yeah, as a movie, I'd say 4 out of 10. As the greatest cheese and bad writing experience of your life, I'd give it an 8 out of 10, definitely.
Yeah, this movie reminded me a lot of Demolition Man.
No, don't you start talking smack on Demolition Man. That movie is...
Demolition Man is also written by a
masterpiece.
And,
yeah, but that was like 10 years before
Demolition
this
Man
one. This is
was
like...
a lot more fun to watch, in my opinion, so I will give you that, Robert. Demolition Man was certainly
a
more fun.
masterpiece. It's a fantastic movie. Don't you even get me started on Demolition Man. I love that movie.
I'm not saying it's bad, like... Being written by a 12-year-old isn't necessarily a bad thing, you know. It was enjoyable for, like, the whole Pizza Hut thing was pretty hilarious. Like, they dub over. Anyway, maybe we'll get to that another time. Don't watch this movie. Like, why would you even? There's no reason. Just don't watch it. There's better cheesy movies out there.
If you read the comics, I reckon. If you read the comics, I reckon watch it because there's like little things in there that only people who have read the comics
if you've read the comics, then you should probably watch the 2012 movie because pretty much universally agreed to be like the better Dredd film.
It's
got the feel of the comics down better, but it doesn't have. It literally doesn't have anything from the comics except for Dredd. That's the only thing that the movie has.
Well, it was an indie movie. They couldn't afford to have like all these set pieces. They had to set it in. Like it was an independently financed film, so that's why it was set in a building. Because
I understand that, but if you just want the novelty of getting things that other people don't, because you're a douchebag, then watch Judge Dredd 1995.
Like you there, Josh?
Yeah, like me. Bloody ABC Warriors, nobody gets that. They didn't have psi though. They didn't have any psionic powers though. They didn't have the psi core. I think they had. Yeah, they had the psi core.
Were the comics written by 12-year-olds as well, by any chance?
No, some of the comics were written by bloody Sin City, Frank Miller.
Which one? I didn't know he wrote.
I think he did. Oh no, it's the other dude. There's a different dude. I can't remember. I can't remember which comic. Can't remember which graphic novel. Ah, that's right. The Batman that the Christopher Nolan Batman films. The comics that they're based on, or inspired by, are written by the same people who do Judge Dredd.
Frank Miller was did the gritty Batman though, didn't he? Because he was
I know that I was looking up Batman stuff, and I remember thinking, gritty Batman, Judge Dredd.
You know what?
Came together.
They fucking make into a movie immediately, and it's never gonna happen. But that's it. But, you know, we can live in hope. Batman versus Judge Dredd. What's that comic book called?
It's.
Yeah, it's just
remember.
like this comic book.
World's biggest disappointment.
What?
Don't worry.
No, I've got this one.
Yeah.
Why are you looking it up? Look it up at home.
It's Judgment on Gotham. Yeah.
Sweet. That'd be so cool. It's a movie. If it was done right, done by the guys that made the 2012 Dredd movie, fucking, I'd be so down. It'll never happen, but we can live.
Yeah.
Although, have you guys actually seen like the newer one?
Yeah, I watched it ages ago. The new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually didn't want to watch the old one because it looked too lame. So and it wasn't really lame, but
It was.
I have gained an appreciation for lameness. Bloody Callum.
So, yeah.
But anyway.
Next week we'll be watching The Mummy. I watched this maybe when I was like early teenager. I guess I'll be interested to see
when I was
if it still
like
holds
12.
up.
I watched this. I watched, I think, 5 minutes of it and gave up because I can't remember why. Like 5 years ago or something.
The Mummy.
Sure.
Next week on Three Guys Chillin. I'm Dominic.
I'm
I'm
Judge.
Robert.
See
Okay,
you next
that sounds
time.
good.
See you later. Salute. Hail.
Take my helmet off. Salute.
Peace out.